World War II was caused by a variety of different factors, including dictators, the Great Depression, different alliances, appeasement, the Treaty of Versailles, imperialism, and the Non-Aggression Pact. The Treaty of Versailles was signed, World War I had ended, and now Germany is in the blame. Germany was now in charge of paying tons of reparations. This put Germany in horrible economic stress. Not only did they have a horrible economy, but many people were left starving, and the government wasn't in the best shape either. Germany wasn't the only place under all these conditions. Many other countries were also struggling at this time. People had a very hard time providing for their families due to the fact that getting a good income wasn't so easy due to the economy.
Feeling pretty cheated after World War I. I don't have any money or any land or any friends. They took all my stuff and yeah.
This unstable state made it very easy for these countries to be taken over by a single powerful person. These people formed fascist governments. This means that these people strongly believed in nationalistic governments and strongly opposed socialist and communist views. They also expressed extreme militarism. Mussolini took over Italy and Hitler took over Germany. Hitler was loved by his people because he promised them hope, and the people thought it was the best thing for Germany at this time of need. Both of these people were on a mission to expand their empires. Germany and Italy formed an alliance known as the Pact of Steel. They began taking over nearby land, and Britain and France were furious. Japan, due to their lack of resources, was also on a mission to annex new territory, so together, Germany, Italy, and Japan formed an alliance known as the Axis powers. Britain, France, the Soviet Union, later on America, also formed an alliance known as the Allied powers. Axis powers consisted of Japan, Germany, and Italy. The Axis powers were all aggressive and materialistic. These countries were not satisfied with the land that they already had extreme nationalism, acted fast, and all had relatively small economies. Allies consisted of France, Britain, the Soviet Union, and the US. The Allied powers had more soldiers and definitely weren't prepared for war. Germany did not want to fight a war on two fronts, so they decided to make a deal with the Soviet Union that the Soviet Union could not attack them in exchange for the promise that Germany would split Poland with them when they invaded it. This became known as the Non-Aggression Pact. Hitler did not end up living up to his promise.
So if I give you half of Poland when I take it, you gotta promise I can't be fighting a war on two fronts, boss. It just won't fly.
Alright, fine.
Despite the warring countries in Europe, the US wanted to remain neutral. They saw this as a way to gain money, passing the Neutrality Act, which allowed them to sell weapons to warring countries. The conditions, however, required the countries to pay cash and carry away the weapons themselves.
I am Roosevelt, and we Americans are vitally concerned in your defense of freedom. We are putting forth our energies, our resources, and our organization powers to give you the strength to regain and maintain a free world. We shall send you in ever-increasing numbers ships, planes, tanks, guns. That is our purpose and our pledge.
The Germans occupied a ton of land, including Czechoslovakia, Austria, Poland, Denmark, Norway, Belgium, the Netherlands, France, Britain, Italy, and the Soviet Union. At this time, Japan also annexed Korea. The US was really on Britain's side regardless of the fact that they chose to remain neutral. So America agreed to help Britain by claiming the western half of the Atlantic and using it to spy on the German ships for the British. This became known as a hemispheric defense zone. In response to Japan's attack on Britain, America thought it would be a good idea to place an embargo on oil and steel towards Japan. However, this only resulted in more conflict. Angered by the embargo and with hope of annexing some of America's islands, Japan bombed Pearl Harbor very unexpectedly. The US was in shock and entered World War II with the Allied powers.
So everyone's afraid of America in the Second World War, but I got this really good idea. I'm just gonna fly across the world and then just fly my plane right into their boats. Right into it. I'm not gonna eject or nothing.
You know, life's doing pretty good right now. States really... What? Well, they'll pay for that. We're gonna end this.
The U.S. ended up bombing Japan in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Japan surrendered 2 days later. At this point, the U.S. was placing a ton of propaganda on the Japanese and placing anyone who looked Japanese in concentration camps to assure that the Japanese weren't spying on the U.S. The war ended with the Axis powers surrendering in 1945 after Hitler had committed suicide. This day became known as Victory in Europe Day.